Hope you had a fantastic summer. How are we feeling about this James Reimer PTO here in Toronto?
Well, it tells me that, okay, what's wrong with somebody? Usually at this late stage, you're not going out and getting a guy on a PTO when you already got your two goalies and you've signed your third goalie. That's going to be your American League goalie. So, well, are we doing this as a favor to James, or are we doing this so he's been in our organization so we can showcase him for a little bit, but it's a little strange to me if nobody's hurt. And the reason I say that is because they're coming down to, I think, what do they have? 4 games left, preseason left?
3. Yeah.
3. Well, you're going to goalies usually want at least 2 or 3 to play. And like Jay just said, to get their timing right, to feel good in the crease, to get assimilated. Usually the first couple games, it's your minor league goalies, or if there's a junior draft goalie. So this one sounds a little bit like there's what else is going on. I don't want to make mountains out of molehills, but is everything okay with Wall and his family and everything because he took the leave? I don't have any idea of what that's all about. So it just tells me something might be on.
Yeah, that's what I wonder about. Like, does it tip the hand, Bruce? Does it tip the hand of the Maple Leafs if it's just like a PTO, right? Like, we know Wall's got a leave of absence. There's no timetable for his return. I think, honestly, he kicks the can down the road. I don't think they have committed anything to Reimer. It's going to be 2 weeks, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I know, but okay. A lot of NHL teams, they don't do that just to be friends. There's usually a thought process behind it. And is the Wall thing a little longer than we anticipated? Is somebody hurt that we don't know about? Those are things that are questions until you know the answers. But as far as I know, Stolarz is healthy, and what's the goalie they used last night?
Hildeby.
He's their third goalie, and so I'm wondering, you wouldn't just sign Reimer to be a backup goalie in the American Hockey League, I don't think. So I just wonder what the real reason is.
So Gabby, let's just say hypothetically Wall is gone for a period of time where it runs into the regular season. Hildeby obviously is a viable option. He's their third guy. I don't think they had him slated to take any real NHL reps this year, barring an injury. But to bring in Reimer, say after the first 2 games Stoli plays, and you have to play one of those 2 goalies, Stolarz or their prospect in James Reimer or their prospect in Hildeby, who do you go with? The veteran on a PTO or your prospect who may or may not be ready?
Well, if it's the regular season, you can't play a guy that's on a PTO. He's got to be on an NHL contract. So it would either be he could be on an American League contract or an American League PTO, but he can't be on an NHL PTO. So it could be okay. Hildeby, you're going to be backing up, or we've seen you play before, and early on in the season you're going to play again. He's had a decent camp, and let Reimer sort of play in the American League and get in shape. Like, I don't know what he's been doing since he didn't have a camp invitation anywhere else. It wasn't like he just got let go by some team and the Leafs are picking him up. So it's going to be interesting. But I would think that Hildeby would be the guy backing up if Wall can't start the season with them.
Gabby, are we getting a peek of what it's like to be an NHL coach on a daily basis? You just don't know which goalies are going to be there and which ones are not going to be there.
Hey, listen, you never know who's going to be there. When I was in Anaheim, I would come to practice and I'd look to see at the stalls and whose jersey's up, whose wasn't up. If Bob Murray had, if he would call a guy up and send a guy down, and I wouldn't have a clue who was there until I saw him the next day. So coaches always have an interesting life when they come to the rink every day.
Gabby, we were talking about Easton Cowan. Looks like that what you would assume could be the fourth line on the Maple Leafs, where just hot as could be last night in the exhibition game. Granted, it is a preseason game, but with a prospect like that, he's 20 years old, being who he is and what he is, and how they handle prospects the majority of the time in the NHL. Obviously, he can just play his way on to the fourth line on the right wing. There seems to be fairly up for grabs. Do you like the idea of him playing his way on and playing in a role that he's maybe not suited for if he makes the team better? Or do you like better idea of going down to the Marlies and developing a player like that a little more?
I'm all for going down to the Marlies. I mean, one of the rules that Bob Murray, I just sort of gave him a little cut up, but now I'll give him some praise here, is he was great at saying if you weren't going to play 12 minutes in the NHL on a game-to-game basis, you're going down to the minors, and you're going to develop down there by playing, 17 minutes plus. You're not getting anywhere sitting on the bench, and usually fourth lines, if the game is close or you're playing 8 minutes or less. Unfortunately, Jay, you would know that as well as anybody. But I would want him playing full minutes, being in important positions in with the Marlies if it was me, rather than playing a fourth line role up in Toronto.
Having said that, what would you want to see if you're Craig Berube to suggest, hey, this guy is ready to be and be in the bright lights of the NHL right away here?
Can he be a top 9 forward and play 12 to 15 minutes a night? I mean, if he can do that and you have the confidence and faith in him, yeah, we'd put him there. But I mean, this is a scorer, we don't want to put him on a checking line. This guy's been, what did he score in 56 straight games last year in London or something like that? Or get a point in that. This guy, you don't want to pigeonhole him into a fourth line role. I want him playing important minutes in the AHL, first line power play. Let him kill penalties. Let him play in the last minute, and then grow him. And whether it takes a half a season or not, let's not force feed him and rush him into the spotlight right now in Toronto, where if after 20 games he's got 1 goal and 1 assist because he hasn't played enough, then you're killing the kid's confidence. So, I mean, to me, it's the idea of sending him down, unless you've got a top 9 role for him on a permanent basis, basically is not the thing to do.
Yeah, moving up on the roster to that top line, obviously a spot there beside Matthew Nyes and Austin Matthews. I think it's kind of slated, and it looks to be possibly Matias Michelli or Max Domi. Who do you think, off the top of your head, and maybe what you've seen throughout preseason or camp, would be better suited for that position?
Well, to me, it's tough. I give you these answers. They may not be right. It's just my personal preferences, though. First 3 preseason games mean nothing to me. Nothing. You're playing your American League players, your top players. Probably not even playing. They may play the 3rd game. And so, I mean, I can't get anything out of that. So I think the top 6 role, or the top 3 role in Toronto, is going to be a top 2 role, and with a rotating winger for the most part. They're going to try an awful lot of guys on that wing until they find somebody that can fit for the year. I don't know. We've seen Max Domi, like him. I don't know if he's suited for that role. I will say this. I mean, and I hope I'm wrong, because I'm just seeing it from a distance and just giving you my opinion. But Michelli, who's an offensive guy, sort of built along the lines of a poor man's Mitch Marner. They might try to squeeze him in there, but this is a guy that was being sat out in Utah. So if you're being sat out in Utah, and his numbers have fallen so far off of his first 2 years of in Arizona as to his last 2 years in Utah, I don't know if he's capable of doing that. Then nothing against Matias. It's just don't know if he's got the ability to all of a sudden play on a line with Matthew Nyes and Austin Matthews. I don't know if you'd really be forcing it in there, if you ask me, and doing it because you made a trade for him. So I'm not sure that that's going to be a fit. That's why I think it's going to be rotating wingers until you see something that absolutely works, or you get tired and say, "Hey, listen, let's just throw Nylander up there and then let's load the one line and play them 23 minutes a night and see what happens."
I was going to ask about that, the pros and cons. Like, we really haven't seen a hint of that yet, of maybe going with a stacked first line, if you will, with Nyes, Matthews, and Nylander. How would you play it?
Well, I mean, I think every coach wants balance. I mean, but you look at your roster and you take what you got to get. If you've, I think Tavares needs a winger to score with. I think, and so you look at top two guys in each line, and that's where Nylander would fit better. But sometimes when you just load up one line and you don't believe the line 2, 3, and 4 can score, it's pretty easy for other teams to really focus on just checking the one line, and it makes it difficult to win games. I think and especially, I mean, we're nowhere near playoffs yet, but I mean, that's what in the playoffs, you need 4 lines to win. So, I mean, in the regular season, sometimes you need less, but you definitely need more than one line to win consistently.
Yeah, I want to ask a little further down the lineup about Dakota Joshua. I believe you had him in Vancouver. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what we can expect from him? What's he good at, and what are some things that he could get better at?
Well, he's a big physical guy. He's going to hit a lot. I mean, he's not a great fighter. Even though when we first got him in Vancouver, I mean, we were looking to change the outlook of the fourth line, because he'd been a career minor leaguer up till then in the St. Louis organization, and but he wasn't the tough guy that you're thinking that if you need a real tough guy, but he can play. He's got way better hand skills than you would think when you first got him. When the scouts were reading him off to me of what this guy's like, they didn't tell me he's got great anticipation. He's got really good hands. He can kill penalties. He's willing to do all of those little things. They were just saying he's a big physical forward, and that can be that'll protect your players. And I think he still wants to do it. He's just not great at that part of the game. But I think he's, if you're looking for a physical wing, he can be it, and he can score goals. I think he's the kind of guy that makes the surprise plays, and he definitely goes to the front of the net, and he's difficult to move. And he's had the taste the last 3 years of the NHL. I think he wants to stay there, and I think he'll do what it takes in Toronto to be a good, tough third line checking guy that can, and then probably put in 15 goals for the year. So I like him. And they got him at a good price. I mean, I know he had 3 years left, I think, in Van, but I think it's going to be a good fit for a Craig Berube type team.
I don't think we've talked since July 1 or early in the summer. Lots has happened specifically in this Atlantic Division. Even in the last couple of days, like watching the game last night, Dobson leaves. It doesn't sound like there's good news on Sasha Barkov. How do you size up the Maple Leafs right now when it comes to the Atlantic Division, Gabby?
Hey, listen, they came within one game of potentially winning the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, they're going to be right there. I mean, they lost Mitch. I think Mitch is an incredibly good player. So talent-wise, they didn't get better. They got Michelli and Dakota Joshua and Nick Waugh. That's not better than having Mitch Marner. But they might be a better team in the end. They certainly know they've gotten to the door. They've knocked on the door. Now it's time for them to kick down the door. I don't think they've gotten worse. Their defense is pretty well the same. They might be a little older, but I think Morgan Riley's going to have a bounce-back year. And mainly because I think he's going to start off on the number one power play. And when a guy's used to doing that his whole life, and then all of a sudden he's totally taken off, and then his numbers decrease, and he starts to want to get the numbers better, and he starts doing things that he shouldn't be doing 5-on-5 to show that he can do them again, I think he'll be back to normal, and I think he'll be a better player. I think the Leafs are right there. They're as good as any team in the East right now, especially if Florida's going to have Tkachuk and Barkov, who looked pretty hurt when they took him off. I mean, he didn't look like he was coming back in another period or something. So, I mean, I hope it's not too bad. But those are two major players. They got great balance, but boy, those are two major players if you've got injuries that are going to be out for a while.
Preseason will kill you. Just ask Montreal even last year, right? Losing Laine and Reinbacher in the same game. And there's just so many examples of that around the league on a yearly basis. Gabby, can't thank you enough. Great to see you. Hope you had a great summer. We'll talk soon, okay?
Absolutely. But that's why the NHL players don't like playing preseason. Because of that.
Next year.
They just want to make they just want to make sure that I don't get hurt and I'm good. And in the last preseason game, they turn it up and they play it and I said, now I'm ready. Let's go. Right, Jay?
That's right. I had to play all of them though because I had a little different situation.
I know. You had a different role. And, hey, listen, as a coach, we'd sit there and go, okay, who do we? Oh, we'll put Jay in. We need somebody tough, physical there. He can play all the games. Yeah, let's put him in.
He's desperate.
All right.
Thanks, Gabby.
Talk to you guys later.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.